Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with Bruce Willis on this. It's definitely a Christmas movie.
It's Christmas, Theo.
It doesn't just take place during Christmas, but is actually about the holiday. It checks all the boxes. It's about family.
Tell Carl his brother is dead.
I want blood.
Redemption. Spirituality.
Jesus. Hey, Jesus Christ!
Jesus, Mary, Mother of God.
Miracles.
You asked for miracles, Theo. I give you DFBI.
Love.
Hi, honey.
Generosity.
You're all right, Argyle.
Just remember that when you sign for the tip.
And tradition, specifically in the area of cultural Christmas icons. In fact, 4 of the main characters have direct parallels in Christmas legend. There's Hans Gruber, Al Powell, Argyle, and John McClane, who we'll start with. I think it's generally accepted at this point that John almost literally becomes Santa Claus for this particular Christmas Eve. His wife Holly calls him that.
Is Daddy coming home with you?
Well, we'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
His limo ride features a song about a man unknowingly meeting Santa. Put a pin in that. The first time he's formally introduced,
I want you to meet John McClane, Holly's husband.
It's right next to a little Santa figure. He dons the persona of Santa.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
And makes a naughty list.
He's making a list.
John uses largely unseen passages to sneak around and deliver gifts from on high. Sleigh bells, the iconic sounds of Santa, pervade the soundtrack.
Get down to 9 now, counting the skydiver you met.
While he brings presents across country in an aerial vehicle, and John ultimately delivers most of the hostages to safety.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
And what does Hans Gruber try to do? Well, to ruin Christmas for this tight-knit little community.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year!
By stealing their stuff. Much like the Grinch, Gruber snuck in.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present.
And enjoys devilish sly grins throughout the night.
The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
They both assume disguises and, when caught in the act,
I'm John McClane.
lie their way out of it.
A light on this tree that won't light on one side.
They also underestimate their adversaries.
They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming.
Do you really think you have a chance against us?
Now to the flip side, where John gains a few helpers.
Frosty the Snowman! Yay!
Who in the movie could be described as a happy, jolly, and, well, portly. So Al Powell is Frosty.
Man, that's crazy.
And in his first movie befriends Santa, who in turn brings him back to life. An arc not too dissimilar to Al's, whose bromance with John brings him back to life, his police life.
You don't think jockeying papers across a desk is a noble effort for a cop? No.
Allowing him to save John and Holly later on with a few well-placed shots.
The most famous reindeer of all.
So his other helper is
Our guy. I'm your limo driver.
who becomes John's guide,
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
getting him into and eventually out of the place where he does his clandestine Christmas Eve business. He's Rudolph. And like the song, it's his first time guiding Santa's sleigh.
It's my first time driving a limo.
Only he doesn't know it's Santa yet, as his Christmas music tells us. These guides wait for Santa to return, but their locations get inverted.
Sweetheart, have I ever lied to you?
If you're still not buying all this, note that Holly mentions exactly 4 Christmas figures, who happen to line up with the 4 movie characters we've just gone over.
You're making me feel like Ebenezer Scrooge. We'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
Rudolph and Frosty? Any of these things ring a bell?
The Grinch isn't exactly Scrooge, but he has been called a 20th century version of Charles Dickens's famous misanthrope. That leads us into some esoteric stuff. Stay with me here, it's good. So it wasn't that long before A Christmas Carol that Santa evolved into the figure we know today. John is
a cop from New York,
a city previously called New Amsterdam. The Dutch Christmas time giver is named Sinterklaas, which you can see on the etymological timeline between St. Nicholas and Santa Claus. His helpers were originally Spanish Moors, but in the evolution of tradition and celebration, got updated to something more like chimney sweeps. The early 19th century saw the biggest conceptual leaps from the old Dutch tradition to our modern version of Santa. In 1812, Washington Irving, in A History of New York, wrote of St. Nicholas riding over the tops of the trees in that wagon wherein he brings his yearly presents. But it was 1823's
"'Twas the night before Christmas"
in the Troy, New York Sentinel that really cemented the quintessential Santa Claus.
Jolly old fat guy with a snowy white beard, cute little red and white suit,
riding a reindeer-powered sleigh, using chimneys as access points, and conducting his work mainly on Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas!
The idea spread from New York, making it at some point to California, exactly like Die Hard's Santa.
California.
The premise of an action hero Santa is so embedded in cinematic culture now that there's no analogy anymore. It's just Santa the Badass, which is the whole basis of some modern Christmas films.
You think you're the first?
But we now know it all started with Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Merry Christmas!
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Merry Christmas.